What if everything you've been told about the rapture is only half the story? Most people imagine it will happen suddenly, like lightning striking across the sky. Unexpected, unpredictable, unknowable. But what if that very belief is the reason so many will miss it? What if the real timeline, the one Jesus himself described, has been unfolding right in front of us, and most of us just haven't been watching closely enough? Jesus never left us stumbling in the dark. He didn't hide the rapture behind secret codes or mystical riddles. Instead, he spoke in red letters, plain and clear. Anyone with eyes to read and ears to hear could recognize it. But here's the problem. Very few are paying attention. While people are busy scanning news headlines, wars, disasters, economies collapsing, hardly anyone is focusing on the actual words of Jesus. And those words contain not just warnings, but a prophetic timeline, not buried in mystery, but hidden in plain sight, scattered across Matthew 24, Luke 17, and Luke 21. It's like a divine puzzle, waiting to be pieced together. And the truth is, Jesus didn't speak these words to scare us. He spoke them to prepare a specific kind of person, the one who chooses to stay awake, to watch carefully, and to walk faithfully. That's why this message isn't about predicting dates or chasing after conspiracy theories. It's about recognizing the divine sequence Jesus laid out. He didn't throw random signs into the wind. He spoke with prophetic precision. First this, then that. Immediately after, these weren't filler phrases. They were breadcrumbs left for the vigilant. And if you can trace his words, you can trace where we are right now. And once you see it, really see it, you'll never look at the world the same way again. So if you ever wonder whether the end is still far off, or if we might already be living inside the very timeline Jesus described, stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we're going to walk through his words. Not my words, not theories, not human predictions, just the words of Jesus. Here's the amazing part. His words aren't buried under riddles. They aren't locked behind impossible codes. They're laid out plainly, like markers on a path. The only question is, are we willing to stop, notice them, and follow where they lead? When you open Matthew 24, you don't just find a random string of warnings. You find structure. You find order. You find the heartbeat of prophecy. Jesus said, "Take heed that no one deceives you." That's not a casual suggestion. That's a command. He wasn't vague. He wasn't careless. He was pointing to the very first stage of the timeline. Deception. Not just deception out there in the world, but deception in spiritual spaces. Pulpits, stages, even homes. False messiahs don't always wear robes. Sometimes they wear suits or stand behind microphones or show up on screens. And Jesus warned us this would be the first sign. Look around. Has deception arrived? Absolutely. It's thriving. It's mainstream. Its camouflage is truth. That's not something coming. It's something already here. But Jesus didn't stop there. He spoke of iniquity multiplying. He said love would grow cold. And when you look at our world right now, isn't that exactly what we're living in? Outrage is a currency. Kindness is considered weakness. Social media thrives on division. Churches split. Doctrines dilute. And many believers quietly drift into apathy. It's not just a cooling of love. It's spiritual frostbite. And the worst part? Most don't even notice it's happening. They scroll. They post. They argue. All the while their hearts grow colder toward God. Jesus wasn't exaggerating. He was describing our generation. This is where the prophetic timeline becomes painfully real. Because it's not only about global events. It's about personal conditions. It's not just about what's happening in nations. It's about what's happening in hearts. Apostasy isn't just an academic debate in seminaries. It's in everyday choices. In Christians who live double lives. In compromises that get justified. In silence when truth demands a stand. The evidence isn't just in the noise of the world. It's in the silence of once burning altars. And that silence is deafening. Yet, for those who are spiritually awake, this isn't just a dark moment. It's a defining one. Because this is when the timeline stops being theory and starts being reality. If we're already this far in, if deception has gone mainstream, if love has grown cold, If division is splitting not just churches but families and friendships, then the real question isn't, is it happening? The question is, where exactly are we right now in prophetic sequence? Here's the thing. One of the most dangerous misconceptions about the end times is thinking it'll all happen at once, like a sudden explosion out of nowhere. But Jesus made it clear it's a process, a series of stages. He didn't say, boom, the end. He said, watch. Why? Because there would be signs leading up to it. Subtle signs. Spiritual signs. And while many are busy waiting for the finale, they're missing the build-up. It's like skipping the first hour of a movie and then being confused by the twist ending. That's exactly what's happening in the church today. People want the trumpet without the timeline. They want the rapture without the rhythm. And Jesus said it perfectly in Luke 21. For those who aren't watching, the end will come like a trap. Sudden, inescapable. Not because there were no warnings, but because hearts were weighed down with distraction and comfort. Think about it. How many people live spiritually asleep? They're lulled by entertainment routines or even religious habits. They're busy, distracted, weighed down. And when the moment comes, they'll say, I didn't see this coming. But the truth is, they were told. They just weren't watching. And if you're only reacting to crises, you're already late. The timeline wasn't given so we could speculate about dates. It was given so we wouldn't be deceived by delays. God's rhythm isn't loud. It's steady. And every stage we ignore pushes us deeper into spiritual fog. So where are we now? We're not at the beginning. The deception phase isn't ahead of us. It's already mainstream. It's in music, media, education, even inside churches. What was once hidden in shadows now parades in the light. Celebrated. Normalized. And while the world is distracted by politics or economics, the real shift is spiritual. There's a quiet division happening right now. Hearts are being separated, not by denomination, not by culture, but by devotion. One person burns with conviction. Another laughs it off. That's not just opinion. That's prophetic alignment in action, and it's intensifying. The watchful ones, though fewer, are rising. They're not content with surface-level faith. They're fasting. They're praying. They're repenting, not for show, but because they feel something coming. There's an urgency in their spirit they can't explain. They're not waiting for a trumpet. They're living like they can already hear it faintly in the distance. That posture isn't random. It's prophetic evidence that we're deep into the final phases. But here's the danger. Many still think they have time. They think they'll recognize the moment when it comes. But Jesus didn't outline the prophetic timeline for us to play guessing games about the Antichrist or the mark of the beast. He gave it so we could examine our own hearts. The deception, the cold love, the division, they're not just world events. They're personal realities, which means the real question isn't what's happening in the world. The real question is what's happening in me? So let me ask you, where are you on this timeline? If you're honest with yourself, are you awake or just functioning? Are you spiritually sharp or just coasting through prayers and Bible verses like it's routine? Because prophecy isn't just about predicting the future. It's about shaping your posture right now. The timeline reveals more than events. It reveals heart conditions. And maybe that's why you've been feeling uncomfortable lately. Maybe that's why surface-level faith isn't satisfying anymore. Maybe that's why you feel a tug to go deeper, to pray longer, to step away from distractions. That's not coincidence. That's a divine stirring. Don't ignore it. This is the moment to realign. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now, repentance isn't punishment. It's realignment. Prayer isn't ritual. It's reconnection. Fasting isn't superstition. It's clarity. Jesus isn't looking for perfect people. He's looking for surrendered people. Maybe it's time to set your alarm earlier, not for work, but for worship. Maybe it's time to cut ties with relationships, habits, or thoughts that keep you spiritually asleep, because the timeline doesn't wait for anyone, but it does respond to those who respond to God. And here's the hope. The rapture won't be a shock to the watchful. It'll be confirmation. It'll be the fulfillment of everything they've already been sensing. That's why every stage Jesus described wasn't just a sign. It was an invitation to wake up, to prepare, to align. And if deception is already here, if love has already grown cold, if division is already deepening, then waiting for more signs is a dangerous game. The time to respond is now. So what will you do with this? Will you nod, scroll, and move on? Or will you realign your life with the season we're in? When the trumpet sounds, there won't be time to prepare, only time to be revealed. The difference between those who are taken and those who are left won't be information. It'll be alignment. So take action. Pray sincerely. Worship deeply. Walk in holiness intentionally. Because every day that passes is another page turning in this divine story. And we are living in the closing chapters. If this message has stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Declare it. Write in the comments, "I'm watching." Let others see your stand. And maybe, just maybe, your wake-up call will become theirs too. Subscribe, stay connected, and keep walking with us as we uncover truths that most won't preach. If you're still here, it's not by accident. You were meant to hear this. Because the end isn't just coming. It's already unfolding. And the time to respond is now.